Right, back to this again. Well, you've got to watch when you get involved in these conversations that you can it can waste too much of your energy, really. So this guy here, he's doing a sort of broken record syndrome thing. So 9 people have been charged with speeding, hardly a fail. So he's getting that word mixed up. So the bill fell. The bill fell, that's in Parliament, that's the Parliament speak. I didn't say it failed, it fell. Well, it did fail, yeah. So what he's doing here, so then I went and explained. So we've got 20 speed limits in both Bo'ness and Braes Village. So 9 people have been charged for speeding. And that's because, you know, the 9 people have been doing 37 or 47 or 43 or 35, 36 miles per hour. So they would always have been charged for speeding because they're going over the 30 limit. So he comes with that, Harry Thompson. So explain that, and then he comes away with it again. Tell us why they've been charged then, clever clogs. So I have to sort of explain it again. So he's either quite thick, this guy, which I don't think he is. He's just at it. He's trying to wind me up. But so his name's Harry Thompson. There he is. Right, so not much information, but you can see if you look at somebody's profile, if it really interests you, you can get a feel for the type of person. Harry Thompson. So, he's been an arse. He knows. So the bill fell in 2008. There's no 20 speed limit. So you've got that when you're arguing with somebody, you've got to pinpoint exactly what you're arguing, because people like this are just looking for ways to slither out of it. So what we've got here is, so you look around, so he's a cyclist, right? Right, so so he's a bit strange if he's a cyclist, right? It's really hard to explain it, but they are white men. I think it's the only way they can get any sort of power, because they are quite trod on. They are being trod on. The only way they can regain any power is by being cyclists, lycra cyclists. And so it's not exact. They're not exactly homosexuals, but it's something along those lines. They are a minority. They'd like to be a minority, but of course they're not recognised in law as a minority. But they have pushed for favouritism using sustrans, which is a weird name for an organisation, to campaign for changes to the law and highway code and everything like that. Anyway, right, so here we go. So we get to he's relatively careful about what he's putting on. So you get clues, you get further down, you get clues the sort of person he is. Right, so you have to go quite far down to get it. Right. David Firth. Right, so David Firth's a cyclist. I've had trouble with him before. There he is. There's Harry Thompson. Get down, wait for it. There he is. So he was younger, he's a cyclist. Undernourished. Yeah, I doubt he's fathered any children, probably not. They don't have it in them. So here we go. We get to the truth. Harry, we get to the truth, Harry. Harry and the Hendersons is quite funny, actually. Boris Johnson. So, well, I don't like Boris Johnson either. I actually admit that I made a mistake with him. I did like him, and that was just because I hadn't really done enough research. So he's a yeser. Harry's a yeser. That's the clue. Scottish Government. So he's behind the Scottish Government. So whatever the Scottish Government says, Harry's up for it. So yeah, here you go. Happy third no Brexit day. So he's the type of person that lives in the British Isles. Comes from Scotland. He's British, but he doesn't like Britain. He's anti-British. Generally, that's the way he'll be. They don't want us to be an independent country. Great Britain. It's kind of like it's a sort of it's a weird thing. It's a sort of self-loathing thing. My brother's exactly like that as well. My brother's supposed to be coming to visit me in October, and well, let's just go for it. Let's just try and stay out of trouble. Just ignore him. Hopefully come for a coffee and that, and he can go. But I don't really want to say, I don't want to see you. But actually I feel like that when I see people like this, because they're actually clever enough to circumnavigate arguments. And I get the same feeling with this guy. So look at him, he's a fanny, isn't he? But I can get revenge on people, and I'm doing it right now. There you go, the EU. So that's all that matters to this guy, the EU. I mean, who's going to be weird enough to put that on? That's weird, isn't it? Very weird. Very strange. NASA space missions. Happy, no Brexit day. Strange. Strange. That's it. That's all he's given us. I said to him again, he's playing the broken record thing. Tell us why they have been charged then, clever clogs. So I said, try and keep things civil. We are discussing 20 zones in Scotland. Police Scotland can't charge motorists for speeding in the so-called 20 miles per zones if the speed is above 20 but below 30. That makes sense. Does that make sense to you? Therefore, 20 miles per hour speed limits are false, not enforceable. No legislation. But obviously, they can be charged for driving above 30 miles per hour in 20 zones, as it is indeed a 30 miles per hour road under planning regulations and the highway code, etc. Well, it's because there's legislation in place, from the Act going back 30 years ago. The Speeding Act. I forget what it's called, but there's an act for it. That's why they're doing it. There's no act for 20 zones. So that hasn't changed. Before 20 zones came out, you'd have got caught for speeding 47 miles per hour. It would be the same, right? I think that's easy to understand. The Restricted Roads 20 miles per hour speed limit Scotland Bill, which was a members' bill introduced by Mark Ruskell MSP, did indeed fall in 2019. It fell because he's sort of seems to be getting. He's trying to. I think this is an example of somebody who's just trying to be an arse. We are in this conversation discussing Police Scotland and their false representation around 20 miles per hour zones by calling them speed limits. So you have to, when you're doing this, you have to keep pinpointing what you're talking about. And don't let, often they'll maybe start going on about Wales or London or something, so you have to keep reminding we're talking about Scotland. It is a bit of a waste of energy. It's like Jesus said, when people aren't listening, move on. Don't keep trying to convince people. Move on. So I'm going to move on. But what I'll need to do with this guy is just keep repeating the same thing. The same thing over and over again. I think is the only answer. So Harry Thompson, your little ploy is not working. Go and have some children, you freaking useless idiot. Thanks for watching. Please like, share and subscribe, and we'll get you in the next video. Bye.